You are watching Blessing Today Legacy Talks.
Welcome to Blessing Today Legacy Talks. I am Pastor Jacob Nayanan, pastoring the Trinity Highland Tabernacle in Kochi. This time my topic is handling disappointments in an interpersonal relationship. All of us are called to be leaders, and how we lead depends on a lot of factors. And one of them, as we all know, is interpersonal relationships. And in the case of interpersonal relationships, many times we come across disappointments. Somebody once said, leadership is spelled as trouble. As a leader, we should be prepared to handle disappointments on three levels. Otherwise, we are robbed of our joy and peace. As we look at the scriptures, one of the people who have done so well is that of the life of King David and how he has handled disappointments one after another. There are three ways that the disappointments come. Number one is handling disappointments from those who are above us. Number two, handling disappointments from the people whom we have helped. And thirdly, handling disappointments those who are with us. Let's look at the first one, handling disappointments from those around us. David, as a young boy, was called by Samuel to be anointed as the next king. He came to the house of Jesse in Bethlehem, and David was not even there looking for kingship. He was busy in his father's fields looking after the sheep. When he was summoned, he came in and he was anointed to be the next king. And on a chance encounter, his father sent him to see the welfare of his brothers. And it was out there that he heard the voice of Goliath challenging the armies of the living God. In his little wisdom and ways, he managed to bring the giant down, managed to marry the king's daughter, and also at the same time ended up in the palace. Now we think that life would have been easy for him. He is now very close to the place that he has to be in the kingdom. He thought of Saul as a good father, one who would take care of him, one who would mentor him as to be the next king of Israel. However, things did not appear that so. In one of the instances of when the Philistines were defeated, he came over and the women sang a song. David, they attributed more than to Saul. And this angered Saul, and he started hating David. He was envious of David, and he also wanted to see that David would not inherit the throne. He started with a murderous frenzy. There were two times that he went to kill David, and he went to kill him once into the recess of a cave, and David had easy access to him, but at the same time, he did not harm him. The second time, the Bible says that the Lord put a sleep upon the people, and nobody woke up, and David had also easy access to kill King Saul. However, he does not do that. It is here that we need to see that how our heart responds in the situations that we are. A person who is supposed to be leading us, all of a sudden he turns to be an enemy against us. How do we handle these disappointments? Trusting in God is the only solution and the way, and believing that God has got still the upper hand in our lives. Turning to God to be the only source. David trusted in God more than anything else, more than what the fleshly desires told, what the voice of the people said to kill him. His own soldiers said to kill him, but at the same time he was gracious and he let him go. Number two, handling disappointments from those we have helped. In 1 Samuel chapter 23, the Bible says the Philistines came to a place called Keilah, and they surrounded and they besieged it, and the people were facing a lot of problems. David comes to hear about it, and David sets off to help the people in Keilah. He inquires of the Lord, and the Lord tells him to go and help the people. And David, along with his mighty men, he went down there and he helps the people of Keilah by defeating the Philistines. Now we think that the people would have been grateful to David for what he has done. And all of a sudden, he comes to know that King Saul also knows that he is there in the region. King Saul immediately is coming down, and David, he asked the Lord, Lord, what should I do in this situation? Should I stay here? Will these people hand me over or not? And the Lord clearly told him, if you stay here, the people will hand you over. Talk about ingratitude. The very people that he and his men risked their lives in defeating and conquering the Philistines, at the same time, once they have been helped, they wanted to hand over David over to King Saul. It's ingratitude all the way. Perhaps you and I may have helped somebody, and we have expected certain gratitude or some kind of a thankfulness from them. But at the same time, we see something's negative. They don't remember it sometimes. They don't even know that we have helped them in such a case. They make no mention it to others, and we feel let down. In our human capacity, we are tending to think, how best can we deal with the situations? And so it is in these kind of situations that we all go through in handling disappointments. How do we handle when those whom we helped put us down? We have to trust God and still move on. As we saw, David moved on with his men and away from the scene. And this is something that we also have to do. We may have to move on because we cannot allow offense to come, because once offense comes, it makes us bitter people, and bitter people never get much in life. So, as we conclude now, we'll continue in the next episode as to how to handle disappointments with those who are with us.
Join us next week for a new episode of Blessing Today Legacy Talks. Subscribe to Damian Anthony YouTube channel right now.